So, you're looking for a simple tutorial on how to draw hair? Let me show you everything that I've learned so far. Now, I believe hair is one of the most important characterizing features of an anime character. Different hairstyles can help to explain your character's personality just as much as their expression and clothing. For example, just by changing the hair alone, I can make this character look like 3 different anime girls. Do you recognize any of them yet? Maybe a splash of color will help. Okay, so let's start everything off with a simple anime head. Then we're going to draw a circle around where we want the general length of the hair to be, and this circle wants to be slightly larger than the skull. We're then going to draw around the skull, connecting both sides of the circle, creating a bell-like shape. Remember to keep a little bit of a distance away from the skull as you draw around it. So now we can use the character's eyes to run a line along the skull, and this line's going to help us position the hair and other things like animal ears and horns. Now, an easy way I remember learning on YouTube to conceptualize hair is to think of it as large pieces of paper or ribbon being draped over the head itself. This really helps you visualize how it flows down the head, and it reminds you to keep it in bigger chunks. So now we can place 2 points along these guidelines towards the top of the skull, and then from these points we're going to follow gravity and draw a thick piece of hair on each side of the face, dropping down. Now, as for the fringe, we want to draw a dot right on the top center part of the head. And to help you guys visualize things, imagine something like a ball, and then stick that ball on top of the character's head. This should help you think of the head as a 3D object, whilst also giving a nice line to work off for the bangs. And remember, you're drawing a 3D character here, so thinking of the hair as 3D really helps, and it will make you improve really fast. Okay, now for the fun part that makes all the difference, adding detail. So we've done all the heavy lifting by blocking out all the general mass of the hair already, so all we need to do now is just remove and add variation to our existing data. So if you're anything like me and you ever wondered why and where to add your lines on the hair, the reason is that in anime, lines generally only exist to show either outlines or overlapping shapes. So think about whether your hair is overlapping other parts of hair and then draw the lines there, and that should help you stop drawing random hair. I hope that makes sense. Now, I personally like to go a little bit wider with my hair, removing random chunks to cause gaps and variations. As you can see, I'm going around the bottom of the circle we drew and just cutting away little chunks as if I'm using scissors. Finally, I'll add a border in a t-shirt, and there you have it. Now, drawing normal hair is great, but if you want a little bit more movement, it's always fun to add some wind. So we're going to start things off in pretty much the same way, by drawing a circle to help us figure out our hair length. But this time, we're going to place our circle slightly to the side, as if it's blowing against some theoretical wind. Once again, we can line up the eyes to help find our front strands of hair, but this time we're going to draw them falling in the same direction as the circle. A really good technique that I use is to just tilt the canvas so the character's hair is blowing directly down. This really helps keep things simple, as you're basically just drawing your hair normally, but when you tilt it back, the hair's flowing in the correct direction. So for refining the hair, this time we're going to be a little bit more aggressive, adding a few more strands and a couple more gaps. This should help give the hair a bit more of a messy look. And that's how I draw hair in the wind. Well, if I'm not in a rush. There is one more slightly cheaty way that I'll let you in on. We're going to start off with the normal hair drawing from earlier. Then using the lasso tool, we're going to select the hair, click distort, and we're simply going to drag the bottom of the hair to the desired angle. And that's pretty much it. Now we're going to add a couple more strokes and strands to make the whole thing look a little bit more intentional. Erase where the lines overlap, and there we have it. Now I'd still recommend sticking to the first method of tilting the canvas because it gives better results. But if you're in a rush, you know what to do. So I actually ended up having a bunch of fun while doing this tutorial, and I made a little manga panel of the girl I was drawing. So this is just a simple reminder halfway through telling you that, you know, practice doesn't have to be boring. Make something out of it. Make sure you're having fun, because that's what matters most. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to draw long hair, as it's done a little bit differently. Yet again, we're starting off with a bell shape over the character's head, but this time we want to keep the hair straight until we pass this point. Now we're going to draw another circle around the maximum length of where we want her hair to be. Make this circle slightly larger than the other one too. Now with the hair being so much longer, there's a little bit more to think about, one of the main things being the weight of the hair. As it gets lower down, it gets thinner and lighter. This means the hair traditionally gets a little bit more puffy towards the bottom, even on straightened hair. Next, we're going to block in the hair using some big shapes. And remember to keep that hair straight until we pass that first circle. And now we can add some detail. As for the fringe, we're going to keep things the same. And that's about all the little things that I do differently when drawing longer hair. Now let's wrap everything up by adding a bit of colour. So I like to start off with a base colour, and I tend to like to correlate this with the eye colour, keeping things consistent. Now we're going to add some shade, and I'm not going to go too deep on this, but remember to change the colour a little bit when we're making it darker. And it's onto the highlights. Here we want to think about the direction of the sun, and then make that side a little brighter. Now an important thing to do is add a halo around the head. This kind of helps cement the 3D form of the head, as well as achieve that anime look. And I know that was brief, but that's how you add a basic bit of colour to your character's hair. And this is between you and me, but this is pretty much how I render my finished work. And there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment. I love reading them. And you know what? You guys have got this, okay? So keep up the good work and get good. Get good. Get good, okay? I'm leaving this one in. Get good. I didn't even mean to say that. You little buggers. See you later.